In the green, Cilantro Ranger playing as the Malay. And Gunslinger going with the Franks. Now these are hidden picks. So with hidden pick, just kind of what I want to say is, with hidden pick, these players are not able to see each other. So Cilantro Ranger doesn't know that Red's going for Franks, and Gunslinger conversely doesn't know that the Malay pick was in as well. Alright. Here we go. Just getting into the game here. We have Gunslinger playing in the red over on the right side as the Franks. And Gunslinger right away going for his same strategy of constructing houses here on the right hand side. Scouting around with his scout. Only one idle villager, starting to take some food here. Just wondering where his other villager is at this point. A villager pops out of the town center. Let's check out the start for Cilantro Ranger playing as the Malay. Cilantro Ranger as the Malay was starting to build his villagers faster, already with a 2 villager advantage less than 2 minutes into the game. That is massive. Scout grabbing these llama. Now I just kind of want to talk about the map Acropolis for a little bit, and Acropolis is the second map from all Group 2 or round of 8 matches that was supposed to be played. This being only the third round of 8, with one of the round of 8s actually switching to a different map for admin reasons. This is only the second Acropolis game that's been played so far. Now we do have, once again, good scouting and a 3 villager advantage already for Gunslinger. Idle villagers under the town center for Gunslinger. If I were to say something about Gunslinger's build, perhaps just maybe learning more about a traditional build in this sense could be helpful, as Gunslinger is not producing villagers. There's an idle TC right now for Gunslinger, and that could snowball into a strong advantage for Cilantro Ranger once again. However, it must be said that Cilantro Ranger was able to hold out long enough in his last game and build an advantage militarily to defend early enough that he was able to push in post-Imperial Age's push into a victory in Game 1. Let's see what kind of push Cilantro Ranger decides to make, or adjustments Cilantro Ranger decides to make to his game to maybe make his economic advantage and turn that into a game-winning advantage.
Yep.
Villager out here on the side, and just kind of wondering what the play will be, where that lumber camp will be dropped for Cilantro Ranger. Now, just kind of talking about Acropolis real quick. Wood lines are very small on the top of this plateau where different players have their bases. And if you want big wood lines as the game goes on, you do need to expand your economy down into the valley area to where these big wood lines are. However, starting out, oftentimes players will create lumber camps on the top of their bases in order to have their villagers a little bit more protected and not as exposed. Farm and mill already being placed down for Gunslinger. Apparently he does have a build, and his build is to be more of a naturalist, and in that he does not want to kill as much as possible these natural animals that are on the map. I do believe that this is, though it may seem like a less economical approach as far as building up a civilization is concerned, it might have really big nature ramifications later on by ignoring this kind of hunt as years go on. So props to him for conserving nature and deciding not to, in either of his games, go for his deer or his boars. One must be commended for his outlook on nature. And the same cannot be said for Cilantro Ranger, as Cilantro Ranger has taken in a boar successfully. And one thing I must say about Cilantro Ranger, it does seem like Cilantro Ranger is more versed in traditional builds, having taken a boar already, and with a commanding villager lead of 6 villagers. Though there is an idle TC right now for Cilantro Ranger, maybe it is a ploy to not let his score get too far ahead. Villager now being queued up right now for Cilantro Ranger, realizing the idle TC time. There is idle villager right now here for Gunslinger. I noticed that villagers tend just to pop out right here and not directly onto a resource for Gunslinger. One must wonder if Gunslinger is aware that he actually can task villagers and send them to a direction immediately out of the town center And I do wonder if he does understand that he can't actually task units and villagers to a location or position or a task directly out of their building. Last game there was tremendous scouting by both players, and I don't know how to actually tell if auto scout is in effect for either player. But Cilantro Ranger, despite his seemingly low macros outlook on the game, did in fact scout the entire map. So just kind of want to go to his Fog of War real quick and just kind of like look at what he is scouting. His scout is idle, so it does not appear if he knows or has enabled any sort of auto scouting. So commendable his scouting is. Just kind of wanting to switch right now to actually Gunslinger's point of view. Sorry, that was Cilantro Ranger, who does not appear to be enabling any sort of auto scout. Fog of War now enabled for Gunslinger. We'll just track his scout a little bit, and it does appear as if there is some sort of symmetrical scouting going on for our Franks player here. So 19 villagers for Cilantro Ranger, 12 for Gunslinger, already a 7 villager advantage. And let's just track those resources right now for Cilantro Ranger, seeing if he can turn that villager advantage into possibly early uptime and maybe an advantage militarily this time, instead of just sitting back content to send military units 1 or 2 at a time to their death. Now looking here, check out the food count. Actually, this game might be rising a bit faster, as Gunslinger is utilizing all of his llamas right now at once. Now, one issue with utilizing all of your llamas here at once is, if you notice, there is decay, or maybe it's hard to see with these villagers collecting these llamas, but there is decay and you do lose a little bit of food. A house deletion here, you do lose a little bit of food as llamas are killed due to decay, so you will be able to gather less resources from them. Wondering about the deletion of this house here. Maybe in this case Gunslinger is planning on making a building there. And second thing is, Gunslinger is last game did not take his berries. Wondering if this game Gunslinger will transition onto taking the forage bushes. Scout now running into Cilantro Ranger's base. Wondering if this is an auto scout, if this scout will find a way into that town center, and that could be unfortunate if that were the case. Deer being taken in the back really close to the mill. That's going to be a really nice deer position. Villagers coming out into the side. Wondering if they're going to go for a lumber camp on the side as well. Scout now hanging out right under the town center for Gunslinger. Cilantro Ranger content to let that scout sit there. Scout now escapes, so it does not appear as if auto scout isn't engaged for either of them. Scout now sitting on the front for Cilantro Ranger. House structure in place once again for Gunslinger. Food count rising dramatically for Cilantro Ranger. This does not look to be an FC build, as there is no gold incoming, but a large food count. No barracks coming down. One must question the strategy of Cilantro Ranger looking for a resource build, looks like. Lumber camp on the side here, very efficient and nice for collecting resources. We have food and wood counts extremely high for our green player here. Just kind of looking back and changing the point of view to our red player. We have lots of wood, not as nearly as much food, a fourth the amount of food, but a barracks incoming straight away for Gunslinger. Gunslinger looking to opt for the same strategy. I expect militia coming down. Last game he transitioned 1 onto gold early and stayed in Dark Age for much of the game. Feudal Age now incoming for our green player, however. We have 3 idols for Cilantro Ranger from those deer. I expect that to be rectified at some point, as Cilantro Ranger seems pretty well versed with managing his economy. Lots of idle villagers now from that boar, as there's 9 idols, all of them now building a farm. And let's see where these villagers end up being tasked off to. Lumberjacks, from the looks of it. Still no gold coming in for our green player, suggesting some sort of strong economic push with 0 military and 0 castle age, as he is not on gold. Feudal age now in for Cilantro Ranger, and Gunslinger has not started building any military units, and is down by already 8 villagers. Villager here on the side. Lumber camp being constructed on the side. That's going to be a 3 lumber camp build in Dark Age. Lots of wood incoming. Once again, beautiful farm placements coming in from Gunslinger. More villagers being queued up for Gunslinger. Villager now heading over to the mining camp. And this may be the start of our production of militiamen. Walling on the front for our green player, and still no military on the map for either player, as still just a starting scouts, and now a 10 villager advantage for our green player. Feudal age now for our red player, as with 20 villagers should be able to pump out a decent economy to the next age. Now transitioning onto gold or builders, looking like those 2 villagers are out there to build an outside mill. Maybe this is where the next mill will be. Still no forage bushes being taken. Single lumberjack hacking away at with this lumber camp. Well, there are 8 villagers on this outside lumber camp for green. Big walls coming in for our green player, as our green player is extremely scared of an aggression by our red player. However, still no military being queued up for either player. Still scouting. Such a peaceful game. Stone, gold, all coming in for our red player. Our green player, rather. And our first sign of action, as a house is being attacked by Cilantro Ranger, just kind of seeing what will the response be from our red player. Stone mining upgrade is in. Wheelbarrow coming in now for our green player, as our green player is grabbing all the economic upgrades. Stone wall now coming in for stone gate, rather, for our Cilantro Ranger player here, as Gunslinger, low resources, has advanced to the next age. Militia coming out now, as it looks like the play once again will be man-at-arms as primary military for our red player. Score pretty close despite the villager 7-vill advantage, though. Credit to Gunslinger for starting to close that villager advantage gap. The resource is looking very small in gold and food for our red player, with an abundance of wood. Just kind of wondering what the strategy will be here, and archery range and stable coming down, as well as a second barracks. Maybe just wondering if Cilantro Ranger does want to go into man-at-arms, if maybe a couple more on gold would be the idea. If they want to go into archers or knights in the next stage, what will the transition be like? Only 9 on food, 10 on wood, 1 on gold. Still producing villagers, however. So that's nice to see. Lots of vills coming in. 4 villagers out of that town center. Idle TC for green. This should allow Cilantro Ranger to start closing that gap. And indeed, right now it is an 8 villager advantage, but now a 7 villager advantage, as green still has an idle town center. Just want to see what green's play right here is. Maybe green is looking to click up quickly the castle age. That's why the town center is idle, but no. It's because it's another forward outpost. Forward outpost from a villager, and those man-at-arms will take out that outpost, and green is just really wanting to know what the play is going to be from our red player here. Still idle TC. The villager advantage is now only 5 villagers as Cilantro Ranger continues to ignore villager production. Another outpost coming down for Cilantro Ranger as Cilantro Ranger continues to rely on those outposts for vision around the map. I'm just wanting to kind of look at what the Fog of War is like for Cilantro Ranger. Cilantro Ranger sees large portions of the map. This has scouted most of the base, but not that lumber camp. We'll be able to spot that lumber camp here shortly as Cilantro Ranger does spot that lumber camp. Gunslinger, however, it looks like they possibly are utilizing that auto scout as they are scouting the entire map. What great vision. Gunslinger with resources climbing now. Idle villager on the front. Not completing that archery range or stable. Really upset about these outposts that our melee player is placing around the map. And only a 4 villager advantage for our green player who has not queued up any new villagers. Wheelbarrow now coming in for our red player. Blacksmith coming down, market coming down, all buildings coming down. Right. And that outpost rush looks like it is denied, but no, another outpost in the back next to those farms as Cilantro Ranger continues to pour it on with outposts. Stable, still not completed. Archery range still not completed. Now, next question is, will Gunslinger realize these buildings are not completed and go complete these buildings? Blacksmith coming down. Could we actually see upgrades? We were teased last game with a blacksmith, as upgrades did not come in towards the end of Castle Age for the military. Stone walls now coming down for Cilantro Ranger, as it's going to be very hard for our red player to be able to push up and attack Cilantro Ranger's base. One must wonder what the play here will be from our red player. Does red actually see the lumber camp from green? Yes. Red right now has his scout, I believe, auto scouting around, and will be able to see that lumber camp from green. That is a very exposed area. Now our next question should be, will red decide to push? And if red decides to push, will they actually decide to take out this lumber camp area where almost all of the wood production from Cilantro Ranger is? Market completed. And here comes the completion with 4 villagers of that archery range. We need to rush out that archery range. The play looks like it is archers. And what's really nice is, since archers do not cost food, and in this game where there are only 11 on food, this should allow our red player to click up to Castle Age, as they do have the resources for Castle Age. Waiting to see whether or not red will realize they can click up to Castle Age, or what the play will be. Villager counts are only 7 apart, as these man-at-arms continue to take down these outposts from Cilantro Ranger. Just really not liking these outposts. Castle Age coming in for red. Double Bidaxe. I get so happy when I see red researching any type of upgrade that Double Bidaxe has to be just surprised about. Supplies research now coming in for our red player. Double Bidaxe is in for our red player as well. And perhaps maybe red can actually take this and sweep this series. This would be a great place to push from. These are a lot of archers. 11 military to 1. This game is looking very eerily similar to the first one. Castle Age being researched as well for a melee player. And as we know, melee advance 50% faster than the next age. This will be a massive speed advantage for a melee player. And really nice tech advantage to have as well. Another board being brought in by our green player, as they really are soundly invested into their economy and their economy play. Looking in, we have big resources for our next player, our green player, as this outpost in the back is discovered by our red player. Fast Imperial could be incoming. Maybe not so fast, but Imperial Age resources are already in for our green player. Just wondering what the play will be with Malay, as our Malay player still has yet to build a single military unit. Another outpost continues, as Cilantro Ranger is determined to be able to set up outposts around the map. Really just wants to see exactly what red is up to. Last outpost being taken out in red's base. And the wall in their space continues. Castle now coming down for green with one villager. Mill being dropped down. Score remains pretty close. Archer is now being upgraded to crossbow. Longsword's upgrade being researched. And I'm not exactly sure what the supplies upgrade bonus actually gives, but what it does is basically makes your man-at-arms militia line cheaper to build. So this will add to the efficiency of red's base. Is if, like last game, red built up a massive military, over 110 military at one point, we'll be able to translate that into a strong economic advantage. Great upgrade for red if red is thinking this game will go along with lots of militia line units being constructed.
Yeah.
More being dropped on a stone. Bowsaw being researched now for red, and I really do like that play. I would like to see a lot more villagers being tasked to other lumber camps around the map for red, as red, with military kind of scattered around his base, is running around very far with his villagers for wood.
Swasti.
Monastery in the back for red. Castle Agent for both players.
Apa syasananya Baginda?
Crossbowmen with 0 upgrades.
Yasakuka Baginda.
And here come Karambits. The play will be Karambit Warriors for our Malay player. And forward villagers now. Builders for our green player. And it's a forward castle for green. Does red have enough to actually respond to this? We'll find out. I don't actually think red can stop this castle, even if they win the position. These Karambit Warriors already have attack upgrades and defense upgrade. And right away, going over to that side lumber camp, and this could be a devastating push by green coming in here. Arson now coming in for green. Squire's coming in for green. And Cilantro Ranger's going to have very quick and strong and pretty soon devastating
Apa syasananya Baginda?
Castle, great position on this gold coming in for green. Now what will red's response be? Karambit Warriors produce extremely quickly.
Yasakuka Baginda.
Resources are aplenty. The second armor upgrade coming in, and these will be very strong Karambit Warriors. And I don't think the military's there for red. Red has a few Karambit Warriors, but these Karambit Warriors are fast, and they are hitting the wood line. And the villager count, which was 6, will plummet for Gunslinger, who is already behind in vills. And there's the engagement. And there's the fight. And those Karambit Warriors go down on the front. However, there's a castle on the hill. At 2 TCs in the back for green. And green is starting to just still only creating Karambits, but is very strong protected. And barracks on the front for green. Monastery on the front for green. Green is starting to mass up units. Karambit Warriors now on the front. And this game could be over quickly with the amount of production that is coming out of the castle for green. Karambit Warriors streaming into the economy of red. Karambit Warriors on the stone on that lumber camp. And I just want to actually check out the resources of Gunslinger here. Gunslinger is struggling. No gold, lots of wood. But villager count is down. Idle villagers, 20 for Gunslinger. Only 13 villagers working right now. That mining camp will be dead. These farms are idle. Idle villagers in the town center. Idle villagers everywhere. And Gunslinger, producing longswords, cannot seem to hold up to the pressure that is Cilantro Ranger. Cilantro Rangers, though not producing villagers, has just an overwhelming military right now of upgraded Karambit Warriors, and these Karambit Warriors will clean up this entire wood line. And that is a total of still 22 villagers idle out of 28. These longswords though will destroy, even though these longswords do not have upgrades. But that is just devastating economy-wise. Karambit Warriors still being poured in for our green player here. Villagers idle for our red player. Villagers being sent to work, but look how many idols. Still 8 sitting in front of that town center. Our green player still has lots of Karambit Warriors around the map. And one must wonder, what will the play be here? As Karambit Warriors are now going to hit the other side of the economy, this could be completely destructive for our red player, as these Karambit Warriors seem to be determined to destroy this mill, are starting to take out villagers. And this will be the end of this little section of economy, as red does not pull the villagers away. Moves the military back. Strong military still for Gunslinger, as these longswords are more than a match for these Karambit Warriors. However, these Karambit Warriors are fast, and they're able to manage to run around and kill a lot of villagers before the military from red could arrive safely to clean up this mess. And look at the villager difference now. It's only 23 villagers for red. I cannot see a way back for red unless he's able to stabilize and not allow green to raid him anymore. Karambit Warriors, though, are being cleaned up. No, Karambit Warriors do come out on top, and this looks like it could be a devastating blow, as the military from red is starting to disappear. These longswords, though, are the combo, and if green continues to fight these longswords head on, this could turn in favor of Gunslinger. Another thing in favor of Gunslinger is Cilantro Ranger has been on 41 villagers for the last 5 minutes, has yet to produce a single new villager. Despite all the raids, still just a 14 villager difference. Stone walls now being created on the front. And it looks like the transition now into man-at-arms and soon-to-be longswords for green, one would assume, will overwhelm Gunslinger. Cilantro Ranger seems determined to make this an interesting game, as Cilantro Ranger really does like the whole send my military in one at a time approach. And somehow, Cilantro Ranger is pushed back and Gunslinger somehow holds. 3 vills on the front, exposed for Cilantro Ranger, does retreat them. Will, my question is, Cilantro Ranger decide that he needs to mass up a military before sending them in 1 by 1, 2 by 2 to their deaths? These men-at-arms, they do have arm and attack upgrades, still are 2 by 2. They will actually win this engagement eventually based on sheer numbers, but lost a whole lot many more units than they should have. Imperial Age now quickly coming in for Cilantro Ranger with the quick melee uptime upgrade. And the walling villagers now being sniped by these Karambit Warriors. I do not think that stonewalling this entire base will work for Cilantro Ranger or Gunslinger, or will it? Let's see. It seems like the military is just here way too quickly. More military units, man-at-arms, and Karambit Warriors being poured into the economy by Cilantro Ranger. Spearman coming in for Cilantro Ranger. A tower being dropped on the front for Gunslinger. Gunslinger does have a lot of stone, however. And one must wonder, as Imperial Age comes in, what will the play be for our red player? How will they defend from this? And I cannot see with their military going to be under attack this game lasting much longer. I think this could be it. Longsword's now being researched for our green player, and this could turn the tide. Forced levy now incoming for our green player, and this will allow the militia line to not cost any gold. So if this game was to go long, this is what would really help out, but I actually don't know if that's even a necessary upgrade, as this economy seems to be devastated. Tower going down now in front. Military buildings close to done being destroyed. Town bell being rung now for our red player. And let's see if that does its job and forces away green for the moment. Green has such an advantage right now. It's 46 to 24 in favor of Village. Green also has a military advantage, which was never the case. But Knights starting to come out for our red player. And Knights will counter everything that our green player currently has on the map. Knights being poured into the back to clean up the karambits. And once again, red will hold. An impressive hold. Longswords continuing to be produced by green. He has held. Villagers, only one idle. Though he only does have 23 villagers, is continuing to produce knights. Relics being collected as well for our red player. And despite not having a single solid wood line, has still a military that cannot be attacked even in Imperial Age by our green player. Wondering if longswords will come, or two-handed swordsmen will be the play for our green player. Once again, a small military coming in for Cilantro Ranger, just really determined to send small military to attack our red player and attack their buildings as they're being flanked from behind by longswords and knights. And this once again should be a cleanup for red. The KD, though in favor of red, it's very close. Once again, red holds. And this game, which we thought was over after the two raids on the side, almost seems to be stabilizing. Tower on the front. Stonewall being completed on the front. Stonewall on the side for red. And red is turning this into an arena game. Long lumber camps. However, it must be said that red was not punished last game due to their long lumber camps. 47 villas now for Cilantro Ranger. Maybe Cilantro Ranger decides to add some economy. A relic grabbed but not taken. It does have a full wall, so Gunslinger will have problems if he wants to come in and actually counterattack. But we have yet to see any sort of counterattacking action. Market now being taken down from Cilantro Ranger, but I do believe that red will hold with those knights and two-handed swordsmen, or longswords. More military being strewn in from green, but will get cleaned up on the front. However, more reinforcements may be able to overwhelm red, as red does not have the military numbers here to take out this army, even though they are still a Castellate army. Somehow, though, red holds as those knights prove to be extremely strong against the infantry composition that red keeps, or green keeps throwing in there. 2 more longswords seems
Apa
to be
Shahsananya Baginda.
about to be donated, though they do pick off some walling villagers. Once again, infantry trying to fight uphill against these knights. And these knights will hold, as the entire military once again from green is cleaned up. Pike's spearmen now being added. Trebuchet being added. And despite the score difference, villager difference, and military difference from Cilantro Ranger seems unable to break Gunslinger, as Gunslinger is holding tremendously well. Idle villagers on the front for red. Spearman edition in here for Cilantro Ranger. And this, even though they're not upgraded, the Spearman edition with attack upgrades and defense upgrades should be enough to push back any cavalry. And here we go, Knights going down. Knights without any upgrades. Knights lacking armor upgrades are really weak to these pikes, with defense and offense upgrades. Forward buildings being taken out now by that trebuchet, and I do not believe that red will be able to hold on any longer, as once the military buildings are dead, they will be unable to produce. Though it must be said, 3 knights in the back still has a small food economy. Barracks down. Stable going down. And this game looks like it could be heading to a game 3. We could see the first game 3 in our set. Wall being taken out on the front. Question this attacking the wall, since you could just walk right around the wall. But nonetheless, wall being taken out on the front. No units being produced by either green or red, and here come more units produced by red or green. More cannons or longswords. Now, once again, there are spears here, which will take out these knights. And once these knights are gone, what else will red have? Though it must be said that somehow red defends and wins that advantage, and might actually clean up these long swords as well. Swordsman? No. These trained swordsmen with defense upgrades will take out this knight. And here come more long swords, as there are 4 long swords here. And this looks like it could be going to a game 3. As 2 long swords are taken out. Somehow still, knights being attacked, and look at that brutality. The boar on the front going down. The knight going down on the front. Town center being attacked by these long swords, and this town center should be taken out, or this town center should go as well. Raids on the side. Town bell being rung. And this looks like it could be going to a game 3. There are no military units except for monks out on the field for our red player. 12 villagers idle out of 13. Only 1 villager working. All idle. No units being produced. 1 villager now being produced. Longswords coming forward. Somehow gets a conversion of the longsword in the back of their base with the 2 monks. Trebuchet coming forward. And this town center should go down, as there are only monks to defend and villagers and 1 longswordsman. And here's the Treb. What will be the play from Gunslinger here? As Gunslinger is trying to reboom out of that town center. And here come the longswords forward. And this should be going to a game. As look, villagers are now attacking. No units being produced by any villager. And now the next question is, will this actually be a defeat? Or will there be a resignation incoming? Gunslinger. Continuing to be outpost rushed by Green, as Green, if they were determined about doing anything in these two games, we can say is they are determined to outpost the map. Checking out outposts everywhere along the map, vision everywhere, and this game is over. And we are going to a game 3, ladies and gentlemen. This is the first time we've had a game 3 in the Noob Cup. A final game, a deciding game. And just kind of looking over the map here, we have resources being taken all over the map. Stopping at 51 villagers the entire game, not having grabbed that relic. A relic was grabbed, however, 4 red, 2 relics in fact. But this is going to a game, deciding game 3. Oh my goodness, let's check out the statistics. We have military, units killed, pretty even KD, but the economy is just really what we kind of stands out. Imperial Age upgrade, map explored is 99% for both. Villager difference,